Good morning everybody. I'm starting today's event vlog from a lorry, which I don't usually do because of the noise, but desperate times call for desperate measures, and we are en route to a new venue with Atty in the BE100. We're en route to Sapey and our ETA keeps creeping up and up and up. We've had an interesting journey so far. There's been traffic everywhere, so you've had to sort of take a different route, and gradually timing's getting squeezed and everything's getting a little bit tight. So I thought I would at least start the vlog now. That's one less thing to worry about when we get there. It's currently about 7:20. I've been up since 3:30 this morning. We were loaded and off by 5 AM, so it already feels like it's been quite a long day. But we're excited to go and explore a new venue, and we're hoping that everything's going to be close together, otherwise it's going to make this first phase rather interesting indeed. Right, as you may have gathered, we've arrived, and if there's one thing about me, when we go to new event venues, I always try and build in an extra 10 to 15 minutes because the time just disappears when you don't know where you're going. However, because of all the traffic, we don't have that. So currently I'm trying to work out, I can see where the dressage warm-up is, but I have no idea where the actual dressage arenas are. It's stressing me out a little bit. Putting on my competition clothes. This doesn't look right. I've been on my... Take two. What I was going to say is we are clinging on to the last moments of summer, but the fact that I'm getting ready for dressage and I'm having to have a base layer underneath my show shirt says a lot about how warm it really is.
Just a bit of context. Behind me we've got the show jumping. Lots of solid single colour fences, quite unusual. Panning around, got the lorry park up there, and here in the warm up for the dressage. And there's Flo and Atty just starting to warm up towards the back.
I feel like we're just lacking a little bit of propulsion, and I feel like it looks a little bit, feels laboured, so it probably looks laboured. It's lovely that it's so calm in here, but sometimes actually the bigger atmosphere for him is what helps, so we'll see. Okay, let's talk about this dressage test, because I make no secret throughout the rest of the vlog that I was pretty disappointed with it. Coming off the back of a test at Champs with a big atmosphere and it was much more difficult in a big arena, I thought that this was going to be a walk in the park, and I was really not very happy with how it felt. And perhaps it's silly to compare the two at completely different atmospheres, just 2 weeks apart. But yeah, I was not happy with this, even though the mark in the end wasn't totally bad. But it also means that there's a lot to learn and take away. So let's chat. This test actually comes up pretty thick and fast. So we're diving straight in with a centre line that ended up being our best score of the whole test. We got an 8 for this. But what you will see, and I don't think the judge necessarily saw this, is at the end of the centre line, I sort of had a little skiddy, we sort of left the arena. I wasn't expecting that, and that made me then back off a little bit, because I was like, whoa, the grass was a bit slippy, the turning took a little bit extra time, and we basically left the arena. So I really then back off. I don't think I'm riding as positively, although we still got a 7 for this 15-metre circle. But where I'm not guiding him and holding his hand, I think is where the head starts to bobble. You can see this a little bit now. And that's something that used to happen. Atty and I used to have head bobbles in our dressage, probably pre-vlogging, but maybe also in my first season or 2 of vlogging. And it's something we've really worked our way through, but it snuck back in, and I could feel it, and it was really distracting me. And then we have a really big moment here where I think I don't know, I don't know what happened, to be honest, watching that transition. I think I didn't set up for it well enough, is the honest truth, and we got a 4 for that. It says actually obedient trans, but then we had to change and it was all a mess. And then we got a 7 for this counter circle, I think it was good that we recovered from that little moment, but I think that was purely down to me not setting up enough, because now I'm just riding really passively. We got a 7 for our transition to trot, and then another 7 for our transition to walk. Yeah, it's a shame. It's so hard when the last time I sat down and did one of these voiceovers and watched my test back, I was actually pleasantly surprised with how my champs test looked, and yeah, that's a lot more difficult of a test. But I also go on to say in this vlog that potentially I didn't set myself up well enough for this test. I had been away on a bit of a holiday. I'd given him quite a calm, relaxing sort of 2 weeks of hacking and fitness because we were off the back of champs and I didn't feel like he needed a bunch of schooling. But perhaps this really shows here, because I don't think that the image here is as good as the champs one by a long shot. That hole obviously wasn't ideal. We got a 6.5 because it wasn't quite square. I think that's quite generous. And then we got a 7 for this transition to trot that you're about to see. And then we're on to cantering in the other rein shortly. I thought this trot actually, now I've had a little walk, that looks a little bit better, a little bit more presence, but we got a 6 for that transition to canter, so that needs a little bit of work. And then I remember thinking that the second canter felt better, and that is reflected in the judges' marks. We got a 7 for this 20-metre circle, and then a 7 for our downwards transition that we're about to do. So I guess it's nice that it ended on a slightly more positive note, but this has taught me that even after a big championship event, you need to go in and put in the work before coming to one of these events. So a lot learned before our last one of the season. This hole was shocking, really, really bad. We actually got a 6.5 for that, with the comment that it wasn't quite square. So I'm wondering if the front legs looked a little bit better from the judge's point of view than from ours, because I think that's quite generous. And then we got a 7 for our paces, a 6 for our impulsion, which is not what we want to be, a 6.5 for submission, and a 7 for my riding. So yeah, a little bit of work to be done. I think there are definitely places there where we could have had more marks taken off, like our contact and way of going, so you've got to be grateful and thankful to the judge. Lots to work on, which is a bit of a shame, but it's the reality, and I feel like watching this test back, I've learnt that. I've learnt that perhaps the lack of prep really did affect me more than I thought it would. There are some days when you boss a dressage test, and there's some days when the dressage test bosses you, and today was definitely the latter. I feel like it's hard to kind of summarise how I'm feeling without potentially sounding like I'm making excuses, and I always hate that. I hate when you make excuses. At the end of the day, that test wasn't good enough because I didn't perform enough. I hold my hands up, I actually hadn't run through that test. It shouldn't have been particularly difficult compared to the champs test we did a fortnight ago. I'd been away on a holiday, this was all kind of last minute. I'll talk at some point in a bit about why Sapey and why we're here. And I thought that test was going to be easy after doing a much harder test at champs last week, but actually we did not make that look easy. I think one of the big, I'm going to hold that so it doesn't swing and make a noise. One of the big things that happened in there was we came down the centre line, I thought it was a nice centre line, and kind of almost left the arena because we skidded, and I hadn't really factored on the ground being slippy, but it was on a little bit of a slope and the grass evidently had been long and had been cut. This is the tannoy. And it just made me shrivel up. I then rode the test with absolutely no confidence, as if we were going to kind of trip and stumble every 2 seconds, and then that meant that things went wrong, left, right and centre. So not a good test. I'd be very surprised if it was sub 35. I think it's going to be like 36, 37. Oh well, today is just a practice run. Anyway, we've got very tight time to show jumping, so we'll chat more in a bit. Right, show jumping time. I just want to have a very brief look at the course. They're quite fun show jumps here. Seem to be riding okay, so it's always hard when you haven't walked it to know how to ride each line, and I saw people do different things, but we're just gonna go and have fun. I feel like the pressure off the table after that test, so.
Oh look, he's heard the cross-country commentary now, he's like, yay.
say that you're ready. Tried to just watch a press 1.8 there for Caitlin and Diana. We have 112 Flow Castle riding around Auburn Dam. Okay, the show jumping, nothing to add to dressage, 33 there for Flo and Auburn Dam. We have 114, Ruth Crank's Casanova Duke, goodbye.
Okay, time for a recap because we are walking the cross-country course. Because Sapey's like 2.5 hours from us, we didn't do it yesterday. We're coming and doing it all in one fell swoop. So my dressage score's in, it's 33, which I think, I haven't seen the test yet, Mum hates it when I say that, but I think that's probably quite kind. Show jumping was clear, but I was a bit disappointed with how I rode and just happy with him, so it's kind of like a reoccurring theme. Atty's a legend, Flo's not. But anyway, we're walking across country, 3 fences in, and so far, it seems nice. So anyway, finally we have a moment to actually catch up about why we're here, because this is going to be the main man's penultimate run of the season. We're hoping to finish at Osberton doing the 1-star. Obviously he ran at Champs a couple of weeks ago. I think there's about 6 or 7 weeks in between the two. I come underneath as well. Which really in that time, for fitness as much as anything else, Atty could do the run. But because of various other things going on, this was the obvious one, even though we haven't been before and it's not super local. So that is why we are here. We love coming to a new venue. It's always exciting when you walk the course at a new place for the first time. And hopefully this sets us up really nicely for the 1-star. It's about, yeah, it's a lot closer to Champs than it is to Osberton, which tends to suit Atty better. We like to give him a nice long time to sort of chill before a big one. Spin you around and show you horses jumping right now. That's really good fun. That's fun, I like that. Challenging, yeah. Right, it's been a quick turnaround after finishing watching the cross country, and I am now
almost ready to go. I'm just going to look at my minute markers, and if I have enough phone signal, I'm going to look at the stats from the event. And I know some people would probably be against looking at the stats. They may argue that it could change how you ride if you look and see where the problems are, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think if you walk a course like I did today and I thought that it looked fair, there's a couple of places I can see issues happening. Like, I think there'll probably be some issues at the quarry, so 8 and 9, and then possibly maybe at the water. Those are the places that stick out to me. Haha, look, I'm right. I'm right. But I think it's good to look, because also there've been a couple of issues at 18, which was the penultimate events. I wouldn't have thought that. And I think it's just good to know these things. It may change how you ride. So yeah, I didn't think there was anything crazy testing on the course, just places where things could go wrong. Like, that quarry is super steep. I don't think I actually did it justice on camera. But look at my minute markers. I'm gonna get going. It's go time.
Hilltop Warrior 5, on from the shore up at 7. She's had a really good summer holiday. Going into the long Friday Wood at 11, Ballymenoid, the food.
We can debrief in a second, but I'm gonna go and see if I can catch Evie's show jumping the novice. And back to the main man, who's having a nice little hand grace. Well earned. Worker working away, as always. Where have you been for the last half hour then?
You know me, been busy.
You'll get to pick up one of those rosettes after all.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's good, isn't it?
Well done, you guys.
And my dressage.
Right, cross-country debrief just as the wind's picking up, typical. But he was really good, so we came home clear inside the time. I think we were about 10 seconds inside, so we couldn't have been too much faster. It was a really fun track to ride around, and he's so cool at this level because you just don't have to do any major adjustments. You just let him go at his pace. Half a dozen strides beforehand, you say, you know, you still there? Yeah, you are. Great. And away you go. There was nothing too technical, so it all rode really nicely. And he made that quarry feel easy. It's a shame we don't really have that on video because it's quite dramatic in real life. So yeah, I think we finished. Oh, I don't want to say it wrong now. I don't know. Did we finish in 7th?
I think so.
I think we finished in 7th place. My classes are done. Another finish on Dressage score, and we actually collected some more points for the BE100 League, which is what Star did last year. So we spoke about it a lot more last year because we really targeted it with Star. We haven't really with him, we've just happened to go to a few, and I think we'll be in the top 10 going into the final, which is the Osberton 1 Star. So it all links very nicely, and that'll be his last event of the season. So yeah, really pleased with him. Another good day, another solid performance from Atty, a few areas to improve for flow. On the whole, a good day out of everything.
Haynet 1 was rejected, so we've moved it over and he's getting Haynet 2, which to be fair is slightly more full, so I don't blame him. Okay, happy pony. Guess this is where we love you and leave you. Thank you so much for watching. It's great to have another event under our belt. I did worry slightly that this vlog lacked a little bit of spark. I don't think I was fully in the zone. I've been a bit detached from it all. Like I sort of mentioned very briefly, there's lots going on at the moment. So it was good to have a good run with Atty. It always makes everything better. And another top 10 placing for him, and another double clear. I think there'll probably be like a few fun week in the life vlogs and then Osberton 1 Star vlog, stay away vlog, so I'll see you very soon. Bye!